Welcome to Southern Yankee. Today I just got done hunting and I'm a little behind on making videos because I'm sitting up in the tree seat most of the time. Well, it's cold out tonight, so we're going to try to help the house warm up a little. By that, I got some cast iron here that I got at auction. That is in sorry, very rough shape. I'm only going to do one of these. I'm going to do this one right now because this one I can't read any of the markings on it, so I'm assuming it's older. While this one I can read on the bottom, it says Wagner and it's got a 1891 and some other stuff on it, so I'm thinking that this is a much newer cast iron. So I'm going to start with this old 12 that I see here, or maybe a 21, I'm not sure which. And we're going to refurbish this. I'll keep this one so that I can see, so we can do a side-by-side when we're done. And we're going to refurbish this one. So the first thing to do is the one thing I never do with cast iron: wash it with soap and water. So one of the reasons I'm washing it with soap and water, I want to get as much of the rust off as possible, or as much of the loose rust, and get back down to a better base metal. This will take out any major flakes, like right there, and it will get a lot of the finer dust rust out of there. Ooh, brown water. This is just some Dawn dish detergent, nothing fancy. Get some build up there. So this process you do not want to do if your pan is still well seasoned. This is the process I use to start from scratch when the cast iron is still good. Sometimes you can't tell if the cast iron is still good, but most of the time you can. And there's still a lot of seasoning on this, but not much on the inside, and it's in such rough shape. Whoever had this before, we got it from auction, obviously didn't take very good care of it. Wanted to get most of whatever was on there off. I know I'm not going to get all of it, and I'm not worried about getting all of it right now. Alright, see, can we see any markings on here? I'm not seeing any casting markings yet. But don't worry, you know, there might be something there. It's hard to say. We'll see it when we get it out of the oven. Get a good lineup. So I'm going to start, pull that out of there. We don't want to cook our thermometer. Then I have this big aluminum foil. Start. Pull pull that out. Cuss this long aluminum foil because I put it on a box that is too damn flimsy. Now I'm not going to set this on the aluminum foil. I'm going to turn this upside down, slide it on the top shelf so it's over the foil, close the door, and hit clean. In 3 hours, it will be mostly clean. It'll at least have everything burned off that we don't want to keep. It could smoke during this process. Sitting here hunched over. Why don't I pick you up so you can see me? It might smoke during this process, and I only do this on cold days because it will produce some heat. We'll have some heat come off the stove when this does this. So it's a good way to warm up the house a little bit on nice cold days and get something done in the process. The cleaning process is about 3 hours. Because of the temperatures and what's going to happen, we're not going to touch this again until at the earliest tomorrow. So tomorrow, after it is completely cooled, we'll go ahead and continue this video. Be back. Anyhow, welcome back. We're going to continue our cast iron special. I put it in here yesterday or the day before, and probably would help if we had better light. That help?
I think so.
And that's what it looks like now. Put the tin foil in there to catch some of the particles that come off it. But it is completely cool to the touch and hair-raising when you touch it like that.
Honey, you're making a mess.
Sorry.
You are. I'm about to use it.
Sorry. But I'm going to pull this out, set it by the sink for now, because we're going to get the dishwasher going. Be back when we... Yeah, we got all that off. Be back in just a bit. Alright, it's been a couple days. I tried something different this time than I normally would. Normally I would just take it out of the oven after it cools, give it a good scrubbing, and then start to treat it. But I tried to use the dishwasher this time. No, it obviously didn't work very good, so we're going to go back to my other way of doing it, which is the way you'd normally clean it. Just a scrub brush and some water. Want to get as much of the leftover rust as you can off. Want to have it as close to bare metal as possible. And trust me, you're... inch skillet. A slight pinhole there. Other than that, I don't see no maker's marks on this. It's number 12. Don't know who made this. I am slightly concerned because right there and right there are a couple pinholes. We're going to go ahead and heat this up and see what we can get out of it. And we're going to heat this up. We're not going to be gentle with it. We're going to crank up the heat. I got it on high right now. I want that pan to be smoking hot for this next step. Now, while this is heating, I will say, and I don't know if you can see it in here. Let me get you a little closer. But if this video does it any justice, you can see how smooth the inside is versus this more modern skillet that's still very rough on the interior. Somewhere, I want to say it was in the 60s or the 70s, they switched cast iron over, and to save money they stopped sanding the inside. This one you can actually see the sand marks around the inside where it was sanded after it was cast. It's a little bit thinner sidewall, but it's still a nice heavy-duty 14-inch skillet. This is hot. That's good. Set it there. I did that very intentionally. I wanted that heat that was there to get the last bits and crumbs of anything that might have been left over. Now we're gonna, the burner isn't on now, but now we're gonna set it on the burner to dry, which isn't gonna take too long. This burner is off, it was just on, I just turned it off. We're just using the residual heat to go ahead and dry out this pan. We should be mostly up to temp. Now for this part, I set up a dish. Are you in sight there? I set up a dish with just regular old, this is used vegetable oil or cooking oil. And with the pan still hot, I'm going to paint it on there. The reason I do that is because you're still going to get some residual stuff off in the process. And you can also just give it a little bit and push it around. You want a good, generous coating on the inside of this, and we want it all through the interior of this. If it's a little thick, no big deal. And yes, I know paper towel is going to flake away and it's going to have little bits and pieces in there, but that's minor. We could do some other stuff to it, but this is the easiest way I found to apply the oil to the pan, because we're not going to cook in it immediately, but we do want it oiled well. This is the initial oil. So and this is also why we set up a separate oil spot. And keep in mind, we're doing this when this pan is warm, so you have to be careful. If you got a gas burner, you got to be really careful. This will do a grease fire. Make sure to get every little nook and cranny. Including under the handle. Alright, now with our first coat of oil on it, we're just going to let it sit here on the hot burner and cool back off. And we'll be back when it's cool or later. Whichever comes first.
It is smoking.
Welcome back. It's been a couple days. We're going to do the final cleaning on this cast iron. Let yourself on.
You might have to take
I've got that smoking hot, and we're going to go ahead and get this cleaned out. Again, this is the final cleaning. If you notice, we got all kinds of little Little stuff just popped up when we did that. That's what we want. We want to get all that stuff off.
Look at all those black-eyed peas. I think this bowl might be too small. Let me get some more cold one. And then I'll be out of your hair. I promise. No lying.
Alright. Back on the stove for a minute. Alright. Alright, we still got the white stuff coming off. So we're going to do this a couple more times to get rid of that. Alright, we're going to add some oil. Nice shimmering oil. Get this all rolled around in here.
Is that finished or you gotta clean it some more?
It's done cleaning. Now I need to do the final season on it. Need a better pot holder than this little one.
What's that?
There we go. So, make sure all the oil is coating the interior. We're going to dump out the excess. That's the majority of it. Now we're going to do the thing I said we weren't going to do. Just to get out any excess, we're going to dab in here. We're not going to rub because we don't want to sand it off. Alright, dab handle. Now for the hard part of this process. Top rack of the oven, 350 degrees. Let's go for 2 hours. So we'll be back in 2 hours. Welcome back. I pulled out the other pan that I did not re-season or clean just so you can see the side-by-side. I just shut the oven off. It's been a couple hours. The pan is still hot, but I'm going to pull it out and we're going to just let it cool. So, hope you're ready. See what we got cooking this time. And there we go. Freshly seasoned cast iron skillet. Just in case there's any residual or excess, a couple light paper towels. We're good. Now this is an initial seasoning. From here, it'll only get better. It's still got a little bit of a brown color to it. So it's got a little bit of a brown color to it. It's probably hard to see with all the sheen and the shine, but it doesn't have that brown color to it. So now we just need to go ahead and use the pan. I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know what we're going to cook in it, but now we have a larger selection of cast iron pans. This is a 14 or a number 12. It says 14 inch and listed as a number 12 on the handle. It is big, it is heavy, and I think it was $10 at an auction. I'll eventually get around to doing that pan, but that's not that important right now. We have a good, big, large pan. So, hope you enjoyed this cooking show. We're cooking a little differently this time. So, hope you enjoyed it. And we'll see you on the next video. Wild hair, don't care.
Wild hair don't care.
Yeah, I think my hair's a little wilder than yours.